Hi guys, it's Katie and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be DIYing school supplies. If you guys would like to see more crafting, DIYing, and crocheting videos, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on post notifications, that way you'll know every time I upload a new video. So for today's video, I have some composition books. I also have this binder, which I'm going to be showing you guys how I make a cover, a side piece, and a back cover for binders like this. So if you guys are interested in seeing all that, make sure you stick around. Okay guys, so I have some different supplies here to do this with. I will let you guys know what the supplies are that I'm using, and I will give you some other alternatives that you can use depending on the look you want for your school supplies. And there will be links in the description for all the items I mentioned, so whether I'm using it or whether I say it's an alternative item you could use, there will be links for it down below. And I will tell you where I got all of this from, but all the links will be for Amazon, that way you guys can get it delivered to your house. So I have two composition books. I'm only going to do DIYs on one, but I just brought out two for some reason, I don't really know why. Next I have a plain white binder, and for a lot of my classes last year when I was doing high school classes, I had to have a binder and a notebook, like especially for chemistry and stuff. The notebook was for labs and the binder was for regular notes and stuff. So I'm going to show you guys how you can match the binder to the notebook. So the next thing I have is some scrapbooking paper, which this scrapbooking paper, I always call it scrapbooking paper, but on here it's called printed cardstock. But I get packs of them like this from Joann's and Michael's most of the time. I just like these a lot because there's a lot of different options in here, and with the amount of DIYs I do, it's really useful to have a thing like this. But if you're only going to DIY a couple school supplies, then they do sell this separately, to where you can only get like 4 pieces of paper or even just 1 piece of paper if you really wanted it. But you can also just use regular colored cardstock paper. It does not have to have all the designs on it. It's completely up to you. So the next items are some Mod Podge and a sponge brush. You can also use a regular paintbrush for this, but I just prefer a sponge brush. And I'm not sure what alternatives there are to Mod Podge, to be honest. Mod Podge is what I've always used for these type of DIYs. But if you have another alternative that you use instead of Mod Podge, then I'm sure that would work perfectly fine as well. Mine is the matte kind, just because that's what I prefer, but if you prefer the glossy, then you can use that too. Next I have some scissors, because you will need to cut the paper down to a different size. I also have my label maker, which you don't necessarily need a label maker. I'm just using this because I have it. If you don't have a label maker, you can just use sticker letters like this. But I just love to use my label maker because it is quick and easy, and I don't have to worry about sticking the letters on there perfectly. So the final item that I have is some washi tape, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be using this or not, but I will show you how you can use it if you guys would like to. So now that I have shown you guys all the materials, we're going to get started. So the first thing that I'm going to DIY is this notebook. So to start out, I'm going to put this off to the side actually, and I'm going to go through this book and figure out what paper I want to use. Okay, so I've decided that since I'm going to make this composition book match the binder, I'm going to choose 2 separate ones that are close to the same color, that way I know they're for the same class. For the notebook, I will need 2 sheets, so I'm going to pull out these 2 sheets. And then for the binder, I'll also need 2 sheets. So I'm going to go with these sheets that are close to the same color, but they have a different design on them for the binder. Okay, so these are going to get set off to the side since I'm not doing the binder yet. I have this composition book here, and I have my paper. What I'm going to do is take my Mod Podge, which I have opened this, it's just that's on there for some reason. Anyway, I'm going to dip my sponge brush in and just put Mod Podge all on top of the composition book. Okay, so once you have this, you're going to take your paper And you want to make sure that you put it on here with the design facing the way you want it to be. And I'm going to just place it on and line it up with the black border of this, which it's already not lining up. But you just want to do your best to line that up. And if it goes over a little bit, it's okay. And then I just flatten it out. So my next step is to open this up. And now for me, I don't use anything that is here on the front. If you're going to use the stuff that's here on the front, then you want to make sure that you're not going to cover this. But for me, it doesn't really matter. So I am going to cut most of this off, but just leave a little bit. And just so this stays down, I'm going to put label maker on top of it. And keep in mind that doesn't matter if it's straight or anything. And on the corners, I just cut diagonally like this until I get there. That way when you fold it inward, it doesn't overlap, basically. You can even like cut the triangle like that. And now I'm not going to cut it completely off, but I will just do like that. So now I just fold all of these edges over like this. And for a second I will undo this, that way I can Mod Podge one piece at a time. I'm going to just keep this label maker on top of it because otherwise everything's going to flip up. So my next step is going to get some more Mod Podge and put it on these little flaps that we made here. And then fold these up to where they'll stick down. And then this piece goes down next. And then I will do this corner. And the whole reason for doing the corners like this is just because since they're a weird shape on the edge, if you just folded it normal, it would bend and kind of like make the paper warp a little bit, I guess is the best way to word it. I don't really know, but I've done this before without doing the edges like that, and it just makes it look a little bit strange. So that's my main reason for cutting the edges a little weird like that. But anyway, and then that gets folded in, and lastly we'll do this side, which I'm hoping you guys can tell what I'm doing. Also, I meant earlier to address the fact that this table is super gross, and I'm sorry. Normally I have a white poster board that's on the table, but I didn't want to get Mod Podge and stuff on it. Since we have some Mod Podge like kind of coming out from here, I don't want that to get stuck to this paper, so I am going to leave this open until it dries. So for now we're going to close up the Mod Podge, put this over here, and you would want to do the same thing to the back side, but I'm going to do that off camera. But the best idea might be to just leave one side open, let it sit maybe an hour or so to just completely dry, or until it feels dry to the touch, honestly. And then afterwards, close this side of the book and do the back side with the same exact steps. So again, I'm just gonna set this off to the side, and we're gonna move on to the binder. Okay, so this binder has the slips like this. So if yours doesn't have that, then you'd want to do the same steps with Mod Podge and stuff. But if it does, then there is no need for that because you can just slip this paper directly in there. So what I'm going to do right now is align this up like this, which you don't want to go all the way. You can't really see what I'm doing, this binder is so huge. But you want to align this up to how the paper would fit in there. You don't want to go all the way to this edge or all the way to this bottom edge, because since the seam is right here that closes the pocket, it won't actually push that far down. I have learned this the hard way. But I'm now just going to take a pencil to mark where I want to cut this. But you basically just want it to be a little bit smaller than the pocket actually is. So now that I've done that, I'm going to cut the paper where I made the lines. And I'm trying to do this as straight as I possibly can. So now I'm actually going to keep these strips. Do not throw them away. I will show you guys in a little bit why. So I'm now just going to try to slide this in there to make sure that it will fit, or at least like do one of these to make sure that it fits, which it will fit. I can tell you that from past experience of doing this. So now that I have that cut out and I know that it's going to fit in there, I'm going to take the paper out if you put it inside. If you didn't put it inside, then just, you know, set it out here, put the binder to the side, and I'm going to make labels for this. So since I was using chemistry as an example, I'm going to just continue using chemistry as an example, even though I'm not taking chemistry this year. I took it last year, but I did pretty much the same exact thing for it. So, like I said, I'm using my label maker to type out chemistry, and normally I would put like period, whatever class period you have, and then I would put the teacher's name and my name and all that stuff, but I'm just going to put chemistry just for an example of this. And instead of printing one copy, I'm going to print two, and you guys will see why in a little bit, and then just snip that off. And again, this is where you guys can use letters if you don't have a label maker, or you can even just write it on here, it does not matter. But I am just going to cut these to where they're separate. And I'm now going to peel off the backs and put this like right in the middle. And keep in mind, it looks a little bit tiny because it only says chemistry. Normally I would put chemistry and then the class period, the teacher name and my name and everything, but like I said, since I'm not actually using this for a class, I'm not going to waste all of my paper stuff, I'm not going to waste all of my printing stuff, but I'm just going to eyeball it to try to make it like in the middle sort of. And then that is what it looks like. It's definitely not in the middle, it's definitely closer to this side than this side, but that does bother me, but it's okay, I'm not actually using this binder for anything. So now this will go right in here, and like I said, it's kind of difficult to get in here. That's why you don't want to make it the exact size of the pocket, because otherwise it will never fit. So now that we have this in here, I'm going to show you how to make the side, which this is actually like a 2-inch binder, and I thought it was a 1-inch. So I just got another strip for this, and it's still too small for this side, but I'm just going to leave it because, like I said, I'm not actually using this binder, so it doesn't really matter. And then I'm just going to do the same thing where I peel off the back of this and put on the label. And then this will go inside of here, which that's a little bit long. I did not measure that. Whoops. So now you have it labeled here that says chemistry, and on the front that says chemistry. Now the only other thing you would want to do is put the same colored paper on the back. That way it all looks cohesive. So now that is the binder done. So now this composition book is dry. As you can tell, my line here isn't quite even. So what you could do for this is put washi tape on here. You could even cover up the whole spine of it, or you could just do one little line here to make it look straighter. But I'm personally not going to do that. As you can tell, these look pretty cohesive because the colors are pretty similar. So that was my main goal with that. You could even use the same paper, but since I didn't have enough of the same paper, I'm not going to do that. But anyway, with this composition book, your next step would be to do the back. I'm personally not going to do the back because, like I was saying with the binder, I'm not actually going to be using this and I don't really want to waste paper. But I am going to use my label maker again, and it still has chemistry typed on there, but I'm going to type out lab after that. And I'm going to print just one copy this time because there's no spine to put it on. And then I'm going to do my best to line it up in the middle. So that is what that looks like, and I think it's pretty cute, and every year that I do this I get a lot of compliments on my notebooks and stuff, and I just love doing it. It keeps me really organized too, because I always do the colors to where they match, and it helps me when I'm pulling something out of my bag to know what class I'm doing it for. So each class will have a different color, like math might be blue, paper, chemistry would be red, or whatever colors you choose for it. But I think it is a really cool way to just keep everything organized and also looking really nice. And just so you guys know, I've had this and a binder like this in my book bag for the whole entire year, and I've never had a problem with it coming up or anything really. And I've even had notebooks where I've had to turn it in to the teacher and stuff like that, and I've never had any problems with it coming up. What I would recommend though, just to make sure that it is on here really well, is to do another layer of Mod Podge before you actually put the label on. For some reason I forgot about doing that just now. Normally I would have done that. If you want it to look glossy, then you would do the glossy Mod Podge. If you want it to just be matte, then use the matte Mod Podge. But that just keeps it on here even better, and I do it all the way to the edge. That way it is just all sticking and everything. But as you can see, there's not a problem with it coming up or anything right now. So, like I was saying, this is one of my favorite DIYs to do for back to school. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like me and my videos, you can subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications. That way you'll know every time I upload a new video. Tell me with a comment down below what your favorite school supply was that I DIY'd in this video. Also, if you guys DIY your own school supplies, make sure you tag me in your Instagram photos because I would love to see them. My social media and contact information are all linked down below, so if you guys would like to follow those to see video updates, updates on projects, and more, make sure you check those out. The Etsy product that I posted this week will be linked in the description box as well, and you can use the links down below to check out the products that I used in this video to DIY these school supplies. And if you guys would like to watch more videos, there will be some linked in the description box below that I think you may like, and there will also be some at the end, so make sure you guys watch those. And doing all of these things helps me out so much, so thank you in advance. And with all of that, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!